Welcome to Talk with Ant and Spirit, where we'll explore the unseen and the mystical. In today's episode, we'll chat about oracle cards, feathers from Simone Morgan, who is a dedicated mother of 4 beautiful daughters and a proud grandmother of 3, for now that is. And she's designed Feathers from Our Guides oracle card decks to help people seeking guidance for life's questions and challenges. So sit back, relax, and just let's dive into the spiritual currents that shape into our existence. So Simone, how are you doing, my darling? How's life treating you?
You? Good, thank you.
Good. So tell me, why did you decide to create your own oracle cards?
I've got probably about 6 or 7 decks here that I've had over the years. You collect another one and then another one, and then you see another one, so you get that too. And it's just always something that I've thought about. Life's too busy with kids and work and everything. And then I thought, no, it's time. I had time off work, so I started looking into it, and then all of a sudden Karcher popped up on my computer, and I'm like, oh, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm the same as you. Oh, before I came on my travels of a digital nomad, we got rid of everything, sold it or gave it away. I gave my cards away. And I must have had about 30 decks. I had so many decks. And I always had this burning desire. I wish I could make my own decks. I wish I would be able to do that. Not actually thinking I will never be able to do that. However, here we are with our
Yeah,
decks.
it was just
And
knowing where to start, and you just didn't know where to start.
yeah, yeah, totally. And Katia McEwen, she actually helps you create Oracle decks. So I'll put the link below for if you'd like to join Katia's membership. Very cheap membership. So why feathers? Why did you choose feathers for your Oracle deck? By the way, I have so many stories about feathers that I'll tell you after you tell me why feathers.
I suppose as a child growing up, we spent a lot of time at the beach. So collecting shells, collecting feathers, it was just something I've always done. And then when I was 18, my great grandmother passed away. And the next morning, that was nighttime when I found out. So the next morning, I woke up and there was like a wild pigeon on the next door neighbor's roof just calling. And it happened for weeks, probably even months.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember exactly, but it's just one of those things that happened.
Yeah,
And now when I see them or I hear them, I stop and listen.
yeah,
And then when my grandmother passed away, which is her daughter, she passed away coming up 6 years ago now.
yeah.
We were walking up in through the cemetery, and we were putting her ashes in with my grandfather. And as we're walking up, I noticed on a grave a couple over. It was one of those
Uh-huh.
tall concrete ones with the urn on the top. Here's
Uh-huh.
this wild pigeon just sitting there.
Uh-huh.
And I said to my uncle, who's a bit of a hippie, he's probably the only one in my family that would believe me if I said it. And I said, that's Nan Clark. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, when she passed away, I heard this pigeon
Uh-huh.
calling, and there she is. She's waiting for us to why
Hmm.
we put like Nan in with Palm. And he goes, oh my God. He said, that's amazing. So later on, he got me to explain a little bit more into it. So
Uh-huh.
here's this pigeon sitting there, and it sat there the whole time we were there. We're probably there for about an hour. And then
Yeah,
even after we left, I got back to the gate and it was still sitting there. And I took a
yeah,
couple of photos. It actually let me get close enough to take a photo. I didn't want to scare it away.
yeah,
And then after that, just every now and then I'd look down and there'd be a cute little feather. So I'd
yeah,
pick it up. And so I don't know, the two sort of come together because I spent a lot of time with
yeah,
my nan growing up.
yeah.
And I've got some beautiful photos of us on the beach. I was going to actually send you that one as well. It's one of my favorites.
Send
Um,
it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah. So I think, yeah, I feel like it's her just saying, hey, I'm here.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
I could tell you so many stories about feathers. I have had hundreds, and I used to maybe get 4 and 5 a day. But when I got feathers, it wasn't that I would be outside and I would find a feather. I would get feathers that would be this size under my pillow when I would wake up in the morning. I would get
Oh, wow.
them. I would be working in my office. I would go and do something or come back into my office 5 minutes later, and there'd be a feather on my book. No one in the house. The very first time I got it, my partner's niece died just before her 40th birthday with 3 kids with COVID. And she used to be one of my students on the Spiritual Awakening Academy. And just after she died, after she was buried, or should I say cremated, I started getting these feathers. And I was doing this program. It was about magic, alchemy, and what have you. And I was literally sitting, because I have the big desktop Mac, watching this online program. So I'm engrossed and I'm feeling the magic. And I basically turn around and I come back and I love peacocks. Absolutely adore peacock. I love the colors of the peacock feathers. And I basically says, I'd love a peacock feather. Oh, I would love a peacock feather. And I basically turned round, went out the door to speak to my partner, and I came back, and there's a peacock feather. I didn't know at the time because it was a hen peacock feather that was sitting on my desk when I went back in. And I went, oh, I wonder what kind of feather this is. And it was when a friend came a few days later. She says, Anne, that's a hen peacock feather. I didn't tell anybody I wanted a feather. And another time, I was working away, and I went, oh, I would just love a green feather, a green and blue feather. And here, yeah, I got the green and blue feather, but it wasn't the peacock. I never said the peacock feather. They used to have such fun with me. I could tell you stories, hundreds of stories of this. I would be on my phone, and I'd put my phone down, and seconds later I'd open it and there'd be a feather inside my phone, my wallet,
That's
my
amazing.
iPad, my laptops. I'd open my laptop, they'd be there. I'd be reading books. I'd open my books, and they would be in my book where I was reading if I needed to really take something in. When I was getting new clients, I'd get this when I would create the Oracle, the Spiritual Abundance Creator, which is now the Oracle. Every time I put that program on, I would get a certain type of feather when the client was coming through for that program because it's a really deep spiritual program. So all these things would happen. I could go on and on about the feathers that really go. So I was really drawn to your deck because feathers mean so much to me, to
Yeah.
my with my spirit team, and I'm very connected to spirit. So tell me, because we had a conversation just before that, and I says to you, so how connected are you? But you went, I don't really know. Tell me a wee bit more about that. Yeah,
Yeah, everyone talks about connecting with their guides and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, don't know how to. I don't feel like I have that. But then I feel like my nan's always over my shoulder telling me, no, just
yeah,
leave it or do this. Or it's more sort of intuition that thought is always the right one. Go with your gut.
yeah, yeah. And it's very interesting because I see this all the time with a lot of people. I don't know how to do it. It's not for me. I'm not meant to be doing that when everybody is connected. Every single person is connected. It's just finding your way,
Yeah.
finding the way that, as you say, you're intuitive, but how do you strengthen that? And that's what I'm all about, helping people find that way and then strengthening that connection so they can see what the other world actually is.
Yeah. Well,
Because,
sort of what I'm looking into now to working on furthering my,
yeah,
using all of
yeah.
to help me move
It,
forward.
it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. We wouldn't be sitting having this call if you weren't ready for that. I know that for a
Yeah.
fact. I just know how it all works. And that's why I created the Worldwide Spiritual Connection Experiment to show people how to connect the easy way. But you don't have to have all do this and do that and all the rest of it. There's a lot easier way to do it. So tell me a funny story. I have many, but tell me a funny story about that intuitive connection. Maybe you don't call it spiritual connection, but that intuitive connection with your nan. Have you got any funny stories around that where your nan's come in and
Uh, One thing she used to always say to me is, don't worry about your housework, get out and live your life. The housework will still be there tomorrow, but you might not be. So I've
Yeah.
always lived by that. So I've always thought, even when my kids were little, as long as my floors were clean, I didn't care about the washing sitting there or the toys everywhere. Like that, it's matter.
Yeah.
Probably back in January, I think it was, I actually went down the beach just by myself for the weekend and stayed with a friend. And I was
Uh-huh.
sitting down at the beach for a couple of hours, and I came back to my car, and here's this gorgeous, only really tiny little white feather, and it had a green tip on the top. And it was stuck right in front of my driver's seat in a cobweb,
Yeah.
but it was there for me to see. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, I knew you were
Yeah.
here. Like, yeah,
It's
getting the
it's amazing.
like,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's amazing. And do you get any other signs from Nan or Spirit or anything? Is there any other signs that you get?
She's always in my dreams and telling me
Yeah.
what to do, what I should and shouldn't be doing, and showing the right way. Yeah, there's just little things, but a lot of it you don't notice unless it's one that's hard to explain. Yeah, I always take notice of my dreams.
Yeah.
And when it's in my dreams, I know it's for a reason. So I'll start to analyze, okay,
Yeah.
what is it you're trying to tell me?
Yeah. 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 Because there is a lot of stories in our dreams. There is a lot of information, or we wouldn't be dreaming it. And our psyche, because of the way our psyche works, is in pictures and visualizations and what have you. It doesn't work the same way as our conscious mind does. So it's actually unpacking those pictures that we see, isn't it? Those dreams. When you have those dreams, when you've unpacked it and you get what it is, do you take action on it?
I try to, but sometimes it's hard to follow. I suppose it depends on the dream, but most of the time once I work out the meaning behind it, I'm like, okay, I know what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes it's like a slap in the face. Come on, you know what you got to do. But I
So
try to.
tell me, yeah, perfect. Tell me a wee bit more about your Oracle deck.
The way I found that is I typed on a few different things to try and find the right pictures. And then all of a sudden, that style of picture just kept coming up. And I'm like, okay, I really like that. So I'll work with that.
Yeah.
And then after I got the physical deck printed as my sample deck, I thought, oh, I reckon I can do a little bit better with this and try. I might change a few of them.
So have you got your physical deck then?
I have.
Let's see them.
All my other decks.
Yes. Amazing. So are you able to, I think you've got a hold of your phone, haven't you? So you maybe
I
not be
have,
able to
but
do it.
I
But
can
I was going to
still.
say it would be great for you to show them and maybe even draw a card for the viewers.
Yeah, so I've got
So
that's the little guide book there.
beautiful. That'll feel
And
amazing having hold of them.
even though like they are my decks, my cards, and I've written the descriptions and stuff, like I'm still learning to read them properly. Like
Yeah.
I'm like sometimes I'll look at it and I'm like, oh, I don't know. That's what I mean. I'm so mentally drained right now. Like I'm just working with other decks rather than my own, which I probably shouldn't be, but
Yeah.
you have your favorites.
Yeah.
And yeah. I tried
And
to change some of the pictures, but every time I tried to find some new pictures, I just kept getting the same sort of pictures. And I'm like, okay, obviously I'm supposed to leave it. So I'll just leave it.
yeah, no, they're beautiful, beautiful. And you can get those decks on Deckable if you want them. You can get them in digital form, which is on deckable.com. Links down below. Can they get the physical deck yet, Simone?
Yes, I will. I'm still working on that at the moment with the printer, but hopefully within the next 2 months, I should have physical decks as well.
So hopefully we'll have the link down below. To be honest, I think you probably get them through Deckable as well. Do you put the link for there, or in fact, whenever Simone gets them, I'll put the link down below so you can buy the physical deck because they are stunning. They're absolutely stunning. I have them. I love working with them. I think the messages on them is really spot on when we work with them. And just the images are just divine. They really are. So, Simone, have you got anything else to add? Anything else
No,
you'd like to say?
I just had a thought in my head too as you were talking about the deck, that when you asked before about funny stories, that just one popped into my head then is my nan was always a bit of a performer, I suppose you would call her. Like, she was in the choir and she was in this and in that, and she always had these costumes that she had to wear for certain things, and there was feathers. So
Uh-huh.
probably another thing that associates me with her with feathers as
Yes.
well. She was a bit of a
Yeah.
costume as well, so everything had feathers. And she also used to have those big glass jars with the peacock feathers and things like that in them in her house.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's feathers everywhere when it comes to my nan.
Yeah. She's a bit of a character, isn't she? Your nan.
A bossy one, yes, but
Yeah, she's a bit of a cat. I'm tuning into you as you're talking with her,
yeah,
and I could really feel that love she has for you, that
mhm.
beautiful feeling that she
She
has.
was
But
definitely
yeah, she's sorry.
my person. She
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You get each other. Yeah,
yeah.
beautiful. Thank you, Simone. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today. And anybody who would like Simone's decks, as I say, there's a link down below where you can buy her decks. Trust me, they are beautiful. So I would advise you to do that. And thank you for tuning in to Talk with Anna Spirit and our guest, Simone Morgan. Anywhere else they can find you, Simone? Are you on Facebook or
Yeah, I do have
Instagram?
I'm on both. So it's Simone Morgan Oracle Decks. And
Okay.
I
I'll put those links down below as well for people to get in touch with you as well. Thank you for being on the call. It's been absolutely amazing talking to you.